Hello viewers, I'm James May, this is DriveTribe. I'm here to talk to you about my Tesla Model S long range. And what would be nice would be if someone like, I don't know, DriveTribe's Mike Fernie were lurking in a corner of the underground, but there he is.
James.
Hello Mike, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good, very nice to see you. Now, the thing about this car, actually we can do this in the style of Lucy Brown.
It's all pretty traditional stuff, but do let me know in the comments if you think I've missed something that you usually have for your Christmas dinner.
This is my Tesla long range Model S. And I have a few issues with this car because I like it as a car, but I don't have a particularly good relationship with it because, well, I'll explain why to Mike in a minute. Mike?
Do you just hate Elon Musk? Is that what
No,
it is?
No, nothing to do with Elon Musk.
Oh, sorry, yes. Actually, James, there'll be a number associated with how many things is wrong with it. Probably something like 7, because it's an odd number and people click more on that.
Is that right?
It is
That's
right.
interesting because I think odd numbers are more interesting generally than even numbers, and you can see this in architecture. And if we're going to talk about cars, spoked wheels, alloy wheels, ignoring 3 because 3-spoke wheels look ridiculous, but they always look better with an odd number of spokes than an even number of spokes. And likewise, if you do something like rivet a spat over the wheel of a light aircraft, it always looks better with an odd number of rivets or screws around it than an even number. And it's difficult to explain why, but it's a fact. We're rambling, so we'll stop rambling and I'll get on to talking about what it is about this car that makes my relationship with it a little fraught. I look after my cars, as you know, and I don't like car abuse or machine abuse of any sort. I generally keep things clean. Look at my Alpine, look at my 911 over there. The problem with the Tesla is, for some reason, I keep driving it into things.
I can understand why. It's massive.
It is massive.
But at the same time, it's got all the sensors you could ever need to not hit anything.
You're exactly right. And it's not the first time I've had a big car. I've had Rolls-Royce. I've got my Toyota Mirai over there, which is a big car. So it started, I mean, you'll know about this one because I drove into your car.
Into my car.
So there's a scuff there.
Yes.
With a little bit of your Rover in it.
Yes, MG, I'll give you that.
Sorry, yes, MG. And you can't really see it. The other thing is it's covered in filth. I wouldn't normally allow a car to be this filthy. Somewhere under here, it's difficult to see, but yeah, there's a bit there, and there's a little bit underneath where I drove into
oh yes.
Sarah, my other half, helpfully puts rocks on the driveway of our house so that I can drive into them. So there's that and that. And then one day I was driving down into the bunker through the famously narrow door, and for some weird reason I did it with my reading glasses on, which make the whole world sort of look like that, and I simply drove it into the door. So there's a big scuff here.
Oh, I thought that was a bit of trim.
No.
That's a scuff.
That's a proper scuff.
Oh, God.
Fortunately, I didn't damage the door, I only damaged the car.
Ouch.
There's somewhere along there's a little bit of a scuff as well. I'll come on to the reason for that in a minute. Well, in fact, I'll come on to it now. I was driving through the countryside again, terrible place as we know, and it was very early in the morning and still dark, and there was an agricultural vehicle of some sort coming the other way, and I wanted to make space for him because he was coming up the hill. So I pulled over onto the grass verge. I was going at some speed at this point, probably still 30 miles an hour, but I didn't realize that in the long grass on the verge there was not a wall, but there were some big pieces of stone that probably had been part of a wall.
Okay.
And I simply hit them. And the car really went blam. So, and this is something else I absolutely hate, curved wheels. So there's quite a big ding in that one. Mm-hmm. And I did a proper job because I got the back one as well on the way through.
Both in one go?
Yeah, one, I mean, that's not like a parking accident, that is a collision.
Ouch.
With the landscape.
Okay.
And it doesn't end there, because if we come round to the back, okay, you can't see this very clearly because of all the road grime that's been thrown up, but you're right, it does have a lot of sensors and a lot of systems on it to prevent you doing this, but I reversed it into my house. So I can't actually see it now, but somewhere around here there's quite a big scratch, and then in manoeuvring it away from the house, I backed over one of the helpful rocks on the driveway, and as I drove forwards, it peeled a big piece off there and another bit down there. But the good news is...
Poor car.
I know it is, I feel really bad about it. This side is, as far as I know, perfectly okay. No, it's not, because this mirror, I think, yes, very, very tiny scuff there where it hit the wall on the way down into the bunker.
There's part of me that thinks Tesla's notorious for having cheap paint. So if you're going to do it to any car, a Tesla's not a bad one to go for. Because
didn't know
you're not
that,
damaging.
actually.
Yeah, they've got really flaky, thin paint.
Ah.
So it's either...
Well, I've proved that by knocking some of it off. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm glad it's one car that's taking all this brunt. None of your other cars have been affected in the same way.
Everything else is absolutely perfect.
Absolutely
Not
perfect.
a chip on them, nothing wrong with the windows. I hate that sort of thing.
So do you think, and I have heard this from other Tesla owners, that you become a bit, I don't want to offend you in any way, but you become a bit complacent when driving a car that's got so many systems that you actually are a bit kind of all over the place throwing it about and you end up with little dings?
I'd like to say yes, but I don't think that's right.
Okay.
I think it's not that I don't care about this car, but despite many of the things about it that annoy me, I do like it. It's that somehow we don't, it's a bit like getting a cat or a dog that you don't, you sort of get on with it and you live together, but you're not real mates.
Okay.
I'm not really mates with this car, so maybe that engenders some complacency in me, or I don't know, but
It's an acquaintance, it's not a friend.
it's a tool.
Okay.
It's not a passion. But what I thought was, I'm about to go away to India for 7 weeks, plug our man in, and since I won't be using the car and I don't like leaving it in the bunker for that length of time, because as we saw previously, the battery goes,
Yeah.
I'd rather somebody use it. And I thought if you drove it over to Richard Hammond's workshop,
He does have one of those.
he does, I've heard, you could mend it for me.
Well, I don't see why not. They've got a very busy schedule, but I'm sure I'll say James May's Tesla and it will suddenly clear and it'll be straight in there. So I've got, 9 weeks?
7.
7, okay, that's less
7
than I thought.
weeks. I was going to say something else. I was 60 a couple of weeks ago, so my brain has collapsed.
Okay.
I was going to say, feel free to use it, but no wheel spins and no donuts or off-roading or any of that sort of thing, even though I do it. Oh yeah, there's some sugar on the seat. If you could hoover it out for me as well, that would be tremendous.
Give it a valet, yep, fine.
Packet of American hard gums.
I mean, you also don't need
suspicious.
to worry, my other half does work for Tesla.
Oh yes,
so
of course.
I won't be doing anything silly in it because that could be a bit of a PR disaster for her.
Yes, and that would make you deeply unpopular.
She'll be that little Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah. I know what I was going to say is I'm thinking that in order to improve my relationship with the Tesla brand,
Okay.
once this is polished up again and looking nice, I might part exchange it for a Model 3 high performance
Interesting.
because it's slightly smaller, so the extremes are not so far away, so
That
I
would
should
help.
make it through the door.
Uh-huh.
It's a more modern car than this. They're better made in my experience from the few I've driven. Super performance from a quite innocuous looking car, which I quite enjoy because you can annoy the odd Audi RS owner. Well, actually, you can annoy a Lamborghini owner. And it's sort of time to admit that this one has been difficult.
Okay.
So I can set it free.
Set it free. Have you seen the news that there's potentially an even smaller Tesla coming out?
Yes.
It might be a few years, of course.
Yes.
There might be Model 3 and then that, but I think that would be
I may
your
not live
prime
that long,
little...
to be honest. But
Oh, really? Are you okay?
No, I'm absolutely fine, but I'm just very old. Yeah.
Okay, so it needs some paint, it needs a bit of a wheel refurb, it needs a valet, and a damn good clean, I think will be the first thing.
Yes.
But yeah, that sounds simple enough. I will try and clear Richard Ham's workshop's diary.
Could you try and clear the doorway of Richard Hammer's workshop as well?
Do you know what?
That's the bit I'd get right.
I don't think they've ever had an EV in, so this will be a first thing for them. They'll need to get all the electric tools, the fancy electric tools. Not that they'll be dismantling it massively, but...
Will they... I mean, we are talking about... Is it Gloucestershire or Herefordshire?
Herefordshire.
It's Herefordshire. We're talking about Herefordshire. Some, no offence, but old school blokes who put Jag XK 120s back together.
Yes.
Will they cower in the corner when a car comes in silently with no engine?
I think they'll actually be quite pompous about the fact of how crap the paint is. So I actually think they'll enjoy repainting some of the bits and doing it properly compared to Mr. Elon.
They can repaint the lot if they want. But if it came back and you'd accidentally done it in Porsche Speed Yellow, I'd pretend to be annoyed, but I'd be delighted. You know?
Okay, we'll leave that with me. We'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Do you have the keys?
Yes, they're on the...
Ah, yes. incredibly secure.
Yes, it's good. It means nobody can see it. Nobody expects the key to be on the windscreen wiper, so I've parked it on the road like that, and it's absolutely fine.
Okay, well, enjoy India.
I will, thank you.
I will enjoy your Model S, and it'll be back spick and span.
There's another little bit there, actually.